I was doing so good. I thought I was. Could you hear anything? What's the button that didn't get pushed?
The go live button, which you
The
are
go
now.
live button.
Yeah,
That's an important button, Brandon.
you
I
are
just
on.
want to sure.
You are on fire. Hit the. Just take it from the top, buddy.
Nah. We're gonna burn through. We're gonna burn through. If they missed out, they'll just have to catch next week's episode. We'll probably say a lot of the same stuff. Where was I? We're gonna burn through. Burn it through. It's kind of a long monologue, so no, I don't want to start over. We're just gonna keep going. Um, beep boop bop. Now I lost my spot. Brandon, I don't know. You know what? Let's poll the audience, since they're the most important people. Let's find out what they think. Hey, audience, we got Doc Mental, we got Kuma, we got Joshua all here in the lineup. If you uh, want to hear my redo my monologue, what do you think? Yay or nay? Just shake your head or nod or something. Don't worry, no one can see you, just me. I won't take offense. Okay, cool. I didn't want to redo it either, so let's just move on. I was only halfway through. Don't worry, I repeat myself a lot. It's going to be fine. You'll catch up, I promise. All right. um, Saka, rock'em, robots. All right, so here's the idea. This is just to set up what the show is all about. That's the only reason we have this. All right, so just for those who don't know, which is basically everybody, because this is our first episode. Mixed Data's mission has not just been about helping creatives, but moreover, through those connections to empower them. Why be inspired if you can't be empowered? What good is building a community if you can't defend it? Why start something if you're not going to finish it? Why give all your time and money and energy to a world that systematically gives you the least amount possible? Why look for a job when you could be looking for clients? Why choose from the lousy options available when you could build your own personal economy based on your own inspired interests and talents? The heart of Mixed Deity has always been about the people who have come together to create and collaborate. Although the space may have changed, the heart of what we do is steadfast. And like life, creativity finds a way. What started out 4 years ago as simply just a weekly circle of creatives sharing ideas every Tuesday has slowly evolved into a full incubator, reimagined as a project development platform, gamified with community collaboration at the heart of what makes it tick. And now, actually, almost exactly 1 year to the day of the sad and somewhat bitter end of Mixed Deity Studios, I am proud to introduce the Mixed Deity Media Cafe at our new location in the heart of the Little Five Points Community Center in Atlanta. We left a 100-year-old church in Grant Park, and now we are at a 100-year-old school in Little Five Points. We find ourselves at this new rebirth with a new location, a new approach, and at a new beginning, a new chapter in a story that refused to stay down. And yet, with all that is new and changed and evolved, we're really just doing the same thing that we've always done. We're just doing it better now. So I invite you to join us every week online and in person for Takeover Tuesday, live and alive, bringing you all the new and improved creative campaigns from Mixed Deity Media Cafe, connecting your community, finding you resources, and we may even get to share a drink. And with that, I would like to introduce my co-host, Mr. Brandon Buchanan. Can you just give us a little sneak peek about what we have happening on the show today, Mr. Buchanan?
That's me. It's so good to see you. This is great. The vibe over the last couple of weeks, as we've been bringing this together, has been really cool. And you said it better than I said it. It's just great to be on day one, talking to people and kind of giving them a platform, and maybe just as importantly, giving them the ability to share their ideas and connect them with the public. And that's kind of what this episode is all about. We're going to be talking about some community events, just things that are going on this week, the week
All
after,
right.
stuff.
What do we got going on? Give us a sneak peek, just a quick highlight of like what's happening in this episode from start to finish. I know the first hour is just kind of a pre-game social hour, and then at 3 o'clock is when we start the actual incubator game, where we're going to be workshopping some ideas.
We're going to be going through just community events. We're going to be talking about some of the programs that are going on at Mixed Deity that people can plug into. We're going to be talking to panelists just folks that know what they're
Who do
doing.
we have on the who do we have on the lineup today for panelists?
Well, it's going to be really cool. We've got coming into this Joy Kuma Gesoe, who's just been just an awesome friend of ours. She's from
Love Joy.
she's from
Who else
Orlando
we got? Who else we got on the
originally.
panelists? We're gonna see everybody, but I just want a quick overview of just bullet points, sneak peek. What do we got?
Josh Kerbo's going to be on the show.
Oh,
Jeremy, who hosts the Sleep podcast, Sleepy Reader. Jeremy's going to be here today as well. And you're also going to hear from Nick Tweedy, who's just one of the biggest hits in Key West and is a mentalist. And we're going to be learning a little bit from him. So it's going to be a pretty jam-packed show. We're going to talk.
We're missing somebody right now. I guess we don't have Jeremy online. Jeremy's working on a comic and another podcast. He's got some other things going on as well. We're going to learn about some of that too. Well, that's fun. Can you just give a quick summary of how the incubator show works, just so people have a vague idea about what that is?
Well, just the format is something that's going to, as I started to say at the top, just build your confidence and ability to present. People will come in and they'll talk about some of the ideas that they have coming, and we'll ask them some of the vital questions: what their idea is, who it's for, how it helps, what needs to happen for it to be executed. And the panelists will either give it a thumbs up or they'll give some detailed creative feedback, just their questions and what's unanswered. And at the end of the show, folks will be able to give sort of a reformed answer, put those final pieces in place. And once that's done, we'll add them to our community's idea board so that people can participate and add their skills and creative knowledge and bring the whole thing off the ground.
What is the goal for a contestant or a player? Why would they submit their idea to the incubator? What do they get out of it?
Well, it's tough to have an idea by yourself and germinate it. You'll find that you often have barriers that come between you and that kind of support. So bringing in that community aspect with
what does the actual game do?
What
do they get or don't get?
Well, at the end of the game, they have a strong idea of how to explain their ideas to other people. They'll have all of these, these ideas that are at the core of how to explain it to others. They'll have that tangibly when they're done. And they'll also, like I said, be a part of the idea board and bring in more community collaboration into their project. Yeah.
So the idea board is the first stage, is the first level to get to in the game.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, let's do some. What do we have next on our agenda here? I think we're going to introduce a couple of campaigns that Mixed Deity is involved with.
Yeah, we can do that. Listen,
do we have some supporting graphics for this?
Yes.
Do we?
We do. Yeah, watch this.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Oh my gosh. The Creative Drinking Club. The Creative Drinking Club. Should I tell them about the Creative Drinking Club or do you?
Go for it.
Okay. All right. Creative Drinking Club. Basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a drinking club for creatives, or it's a club for creative drinking, or it's a creative club for drinking, or whatever. Those are the three things. It's a club, people drink, and it's creative. What it does is it sponsors and promotes meetups, networking events, community outreach, organically growing the massive sort of creative database that is curated by the Creatives Concierge. Do we have a Creatives Concierge graphic? I'm putting you on the.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to go straight into it?
Yeah, because I don't want to belabor it. We're going to talk about it plenty more. I just want to introduce them real fast.
All right.
So the Creatives Concierge. What is the Creatives Concierge? Well, I'm glad that I asked. In simple input, Creatives Concierge is, you call the front desk for answers to any creative challenge. We work with handpicked, human recommended resources of all kinds, operate on a sliding scale, anything between $0 to $300 million. Because we have are you ready for the next one?
Yes.
Because we have the Co-Creator Incubator. What is the Co-Creator Incubator? Well, I'm glad I asked. The Co-Creator Incubator is a gamified project and community that taps into the unlimited resources that we have. And guess what that is? It's each other. Yes. So if you're not in the 1%, and you can't fund any random idea or whim that you want on willy-nilly, then what you are is you're in the majority, actually. And simply put, there's a lot more of us. So let's collaborate and let's create. And that's what the Co-Creator Incubator does.
Do you want to talk about the location that you're at?
The Media Cafe?
Yeah.
Sure. So very quickly, and we're going to talk about this more, but the Media Cafe is a developing project. I believe it is in the delivery phase of the incubator game. And essentially, it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a media cafe. It's a place that works like a cafe, but it's a members cafe. So you don't really have to feel like you're at Starbucks or a place where you just need to go in and like pay too much for drinks and then like get out. It's a place that tries to mirror the original like vibes of 1950s beatnik cafes or 1920s Parisian cafes, where they would really be like artistic hubs and community centers where people would just go and hang out all day, all night. They'd collaborate, they'd work on things. And then we've added the media element. So we're setting up the cafe, it's about halfway there now, to be essentially a film set that you can come and shoot your content at, or spontaneously film your performances or your interviews, or whatever you need, with a whole omni view of different backdrops and lighting that's preset and ready to go, so that it's easier and faster and simpler to create and consume content in a social setting. It's much more casual. It just is kind of this hybrid cafe slash production studio that just keeps going because life keeps going, and we need stuff that moves as quickly as we do. So that's the Media Cafe, and it's a work in progress. We're going to talk about it more during the delivery phase of the incubator. And those are the mixed points. Anything I didn't follow up? Rebuttal?
You were incredibly thorough, and I don't think that the format of this show needs us to have a Lincoln Douglas debate on what the programs are. I think people will know kind of how all of these things plug into each other. You've got community, location, networking, sponsorship, and events all rolled into a program that people can plug into according to their skills and capacity, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that what makes it work is that we get parceled off so much, and feel free to cut me off, because when I get on these tangents, man, I can go forever. So
don't worry, I'll cut you off.
You're kind of monitoring the time clock on this whole thing. We got to stay on schedule. So, but essentially, like, all these corporations, they really want to keep you in their ecosystem. Like, Samsung and Apple don't play well together. Google and I don't know, Tesla don't play well together. And the problem is that one of them has a solution and the other one has a solution, and you can't combine the solutions because it's not aligned with corporate interests. So we're trying to create a somewhat of an omni situation where you were trying to get a project going. Well, you're going to need to socialize and meet people and connect with people to get them interested in your project, and vice versa. You're going to need tools and resources to access to them, and trusted people. You're going to need a place to, work on your projects, film things, create. You're going to need, marketing. And that's also what the Creative Drinking Club does. It really tries to promote people, and so on and so forth. There's a piece of everything in there, but it's populated by the community and drawn by the community, and it's designed to make them connect, and it's not really a money machine.
Yeah. And one thing that I found is that people tend to cycle between all of these things as they are putting a project together. So you don't want to have one and then go, well, where's these other things? In your real life, you're juggling that at the same time too. So this is a hub where every step that you go through, you've got some kind of layer of support and infrastructure, which is just great. It's great to see.
Cool. Well, let's. I think we've laid that out pretty good. Why don't we get to some panelists? We have some panelists waiting for us. So who should we? I see Doc. He's right there, ready to go. He's a punctual son of a bitch. Why don't we tell us a little bit about Doc Mental, and then let's bring him on the show.
Well, Nicholas Tweedy's been a Key West hit now for 10 years. Hey there. He's a mentalist specializing in levitation and mind reading presentations. He's been performing seasons of 3 to 6 months in Key West for almost 20 years now. He's sold out weekly and monthly shows in the old Writers Room venue at Hog Breath Saloon and upstairs at Hog Rock Cafe. And currently, he's performing every night at Kaya Island Eats on Duval and has a show scheduled for Key West Theater on April 27th with 3 other magicians in Florida. And of course, if you're not in Key West and you're looking for this guy, you can find him anywhere on the planet. Nicholas, Doc Mental, how's it going, dude? How are you?
Hey, all right, yourself?
We're just doing great. It's a big day, and happy to have you here as, I guess, like a first official guest. Whoa, there's something on fire.
Hey, let's give you the stage, Doc. Tell us a little about what's going on with you. What you got? Look at this. This is my goodness gracious.
That's just how I pass out the cards.
What's going on, Doc?
You know, those fire cards are actually available on Vistaprint. You just have to click the fire option.
No shit. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm just kidding.
I actually fell for that for a second. So you got some shows coming up, Doc. Tell us about what you got coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of private gigs, but I do have some public shows coming up. I have a show coming up with 3 magicians from the Florida Keys on the 27th of April at Key West Theater. That's with Frank Everhart or Frank's Magic Bar, Michael Tricks. He performs a stage show in Almirada 5 nights a week. And then Gazzo, who's like an English performer who's pretty famous in the magic community. Yeah, that's the open shows. And then I'm performing every night at the Emporium, which is where Kaya Island Eats is. And I entertain the tourists these days.
Well, fantastic. You know, I'm going to be down there next week. I think we're probably broadcasting the next episode of the show from Key West, actually. At least I'll be in Key West. And maybe we can meet up and get like a live demonstration, or I can maybe do a little on-site clip and see you at one of your shows. We could see you in action.
Yeah, that'd be great. Come by Kaya, and we'll get some filming and go from there.
So where can somebody consume some of your content online if they want to learn about you on the interwebs? Where's a place they can get some, or maybe, I don't know, book you or like subscribe or join your community? I mean, what for those of everyone and people who can't get to Key West, how can they get connected to Doc Mental?
I'm on Instagram at Mental Shows, and in addition for people, also on Facebook. And that's now get shows, and that's my Facebook page.
Cool.
And,
Very cool.
You know, I do.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm getting a lot of...
Mainly, I'm okay.
Mainly, go ahead.
Mainly, I do like corporate shows. I do a lot of conventions and gala balls and things like that.
You had talked to me
Australia for 6 years.
You talked to me once about a play, an original play that you were writing, and that you talked to me about a few years ago, and then you mentioned it again recently. Is that something that's developed? Where's that at?
Yeah, I finished the play, and it's actually written for the Colombian market. I live in Medellin, Colombia, 6 months a year, and the play itself takes place in Medellin. It's based on a very old book from the 1800s called Trilby, and it was turned into a movie which starred John Barrymore, Drew Barrymore's grandfather. He won an Academy Award, and they had to add an extra word to the dictionary because of that. The
Drew
Svengali. That
Barrymore's
was
grandfather?
Yes, he was a rock star in Hollywood back in the day.
Wow.
His first Academy Award was for Svengali, which is the story that my play is based on. It's about the original story is about a an evil mentalist, so to speak. He actually was a piano maestro, but he was also an expert in hypnotism, which, of course, in the late 1800s, that was very cutting edge writing. Talking about hypnotizing people and Dr. Mesmer's work. And this evil hypnotist actually hypnotized a young woman into falling in love with him. He stole her through hypnotism.
Is that the original grooming? Grooming's not anymore. You know that, right?
Yes.
Well, that's
I'm
very,
much
very cool.
The bad guy in this play.
You're gonna be the bad guy. Nice, perfect. Well,
yeah, but
look forward to getting updates on that project as it develops. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help push it along. Brandon, we're going to try and stay on our little time clock today. Let's see who else we got on the stream real quick here. We want to bring anybody up. Thanks. Hang tight, Doc. We're going to bring you back in a minute for the show. But we want to get to see who else we got lined up.
Yeah, I want to bring Jeremy onto the show. Jeremy Loomis, he's a podcaster and he's a cartoonist. His sleep podcast is Sleepy Reader. He tries to stay awake long enough to read you to sleep. And you can follow Sleepy Reader on YouTube or anywhere where podcasts are distributed, including Spotify. He also hosts the Spotify exclusive podcast, Warm Audio. And this is a music and talk podcast for the warm-hearted. And for those finding their way back to a warmth that they've lost, you can also follow Jeremy on Instagram, instagram.com/LoomisWorks. And Jeremy also has a brilliantly illustrated webcomic called Quiet House. It's on Webtoon. Jeremy, what's up? How are you?
Hey, Brandon. I'm doing pretty good. Good to be able to join you guys today.
Yeah.
We got some. What's happening? Am I the only one seeing this? Is this part of your artistic interpretation, Jeremy? You're gonna pixelate yourself?
What's happening? Oh, am I frozen right now?
No, you're not frozen. You're got a cool little zing thing. Are you on a computer or a phone?
I'm joining by computer.
Jeremy,
I'm noticing this computer phenomenon. StreamYard seems to like phones better than computers.
Really?
Hey,
what?
Doc Mental, are you on a phone or a computer?
Rock, I hate to interrupt you, but Jeremy on my end is coming through with perfect quality and sound.
Oh,
and and Jeremy, I'd love it if you didn't adjust anything. Jeremy, tell me about Quiet House specifically. I read it. I liked it. What's the motif of Quiet House? Tell me about the process of making it and where it's going in the future.
Sure, yeah. So for anybody who already digs it, I guess the only letdown is going to be that it is a self-contained story. It's not going to be a super long one, but it will last most of this year. It's going to be wrapping up probably as we're approaching the holidays. So it's not super long. It's kind of short and sweet. I've been thinking of maybe some expanded universe stuff, because if it does gain a following and if people really enjoy it, I mean, I know how I feel when I really get into something and it ends up being short-lived. Sometimes you just want to be in that world a little bit longer. So just for those who are interested, that is on my mind, but the proper story itself is pretty self-contained. And I would go ahead.
Yeah, you're also doing a podcast. You're reading Winnie the Pooh, among other things, on the Sleep podcast. Let's talk quickly about that.
Sure. Yeah. So I would imagine by now, since it's become somewhat more of a popular thing, sleep podcasts are a genre. Some people are going to know the Sleep With Me podcast. That's one that I like. Joe Pera has a sleep podcast.
I love Joe Pera's sleep podcast. It's the best.
Yeah, I do too. He's very good. But basically, the angle that I chose was a simple one. And I've been wanting to do this for a while. I thought, why not have a podcast where the reader himself is the one falling asleep? Because that's gonna give you just one thing to zero in your attention on. It is going to draw you into a rhythm that's going to help you
It's
just
so
slow down until you
frustrating.
fall asleep.
If you're not falling asleep though, if it's like if you're
Well,
wide
no,
awake
like
and the reader's falling asleep and you're like, God damn it.
well, listen before you draw a conclusion.
I'd also love to introduce, I'd love to introduce Joy.
Yeah, let's bring Joy on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Joy, are you here? Are you good? How's it going? We see that you're in the drive right now. We're putting you in the driver's seat. Tell us about how you've been doing. There's a magazine launch coming up soon. You've got a big profile spot there. Tell us a little bit about that and how it came together. It's so good to see you.
Make sure. It's good to see you guys too, Mike's. My husband's driving right now, so don't worry about my safety.
I'm even more worried about your safety.
Right? Basically a local magazine here in Atlanta, LUL, which stands for Let Us Live magazine. They what they do is they find people in the communities that aren't exactly being highlighted for their work in the community. You know, they're people, well, I won't call them underdogs because most of the people I see aren't underdogs. What they are is people that aren't appreciated for the work that they put in to their communities. So they find these people. We actually connected through a friend, Sigflow. We connected through actually we went to, I think we were invited to maybe one or two of their release parties. Three of them. You're right, it was three release parties, and we pretty much, we just talked to them, did what we usually do. My husband and I were very polite people, very kind and very helpful, so we just networked that way. And he made a joke one year. I'm Dwayne, the director, or rather a CEO. He made a joke saying, well, y'all keep playing, y'all gonna be next. And so he let us know end of last year, that we were going to be the next issue, number 9. And he wanted it to be all about Fire Nation Crew and what we do at the We on Fire Cypher, which is my baby. But essentially, we are the honorees. My husband and I are on the front cover. Our crew is all throughout the whole publication. And there's just so much information. They actually did a documentary series about us as well. So that was actually pretty fun filming. I've never been a part of anything like that, and didn't know it would happen in my lifetime. So hey, that's a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Real quick show of hands. Does everybody know that we're talking about breakdancing right now?
Yeah. So
have we mentioned that? Have we established that fact?
No, I don't think we did. I got you.
Fire Nation Crew has been around. Rock, you told me that I was going to be in charge of the pace of this show, and you've got to actually let me do it. I'm so appreciative. Fire Nation Crew has been around since October of 2020, and really bringing back ciphers. And you've got both Fire Nation Crew and We on Fire Network traveling, teaching, performing, and there's so much backstory that goes into that. Can you talk about what motivated Fire Nation Crew and the situation in Atlanta that made you start it?
Yes. Okay. So what motivated, or rather what began Fire Nation Crew, was my husband and I. Essentially, the idea started with him. He's always wanted to be around other dancers that really that were really serious about their craft. They wanted to become professionals, that like the people that they see in these step up movies or You Got Served and whatnot, and really wanted to make that an actual career for themselves. And we were always, both of us actually were very much into finding other dancers that were really on fire for what they want. Really just really passionate and wanting to actually do it without just, people, when they're passionate about some things, they tend to just talk about it and they don't actually put the action behind it. And so that's what bloomed Fire Nation Crew. My husband and I, we started kind of scouting people, looking at people that we knew, looking at people we didn't. And the We on Fire Cypher actually kind of helped grow the crew itself. It started out with maybe 5 people. It was about 5, yeah. But it grew after we started the We on Fire Cypher, which actually didn't start happening until I think maybe a month or two after we started. the Fire Nation crew. So the We on Fire Cypher was my baby, something I had grown when I was younger. I wanted to meet other dancers because the Atlanta scene for dance is a little catty. Unfortunately, there's a lot of gatekeeping, and I know that's in a lot of creative communities, but in this one in particular, I didn't know anybody. And as a young woman trying to go out to dance, usually all these things happen at night, and I didn't have any friends that like to dance. They were all nerds, which is great still, but it didn't work. I didn't know anybody. I couldn't find anybody, even online, which I thought was crazy. And so I decided to create something called the We on Fire Cipher, where I could find other dancers, or rather, they could come to me. I made it a safe hub because growing up as a dancer, I had a lot of doubt in my head. So I had a lot of stage fright. I couldn't dance around other people. But the We on Fire Cipher was something I wanted to make sure that no one else had to deal with that. It's a safe place. It's free. You don't have to worry about, oh, I didn't get my paycheck this week and I got to pay $10 for this or $20 for that and I got to do this. You don't have to worry about all that. Just have a little gas money, baby. Take the MARTA, because we try to have places near the MARTA stations as well. But we try to make everything as easy as possible and as like just minimum mental stress as possible. And we wanted to make sure it was for everybody. So there are other creatives that have started to come into the mix as well. So it's not just dancers. Now we have vendors. We have actually we had a fire what was he? It was a fire dancer at one of ours. And all types
What do
of
you got
stuff, like
coming
all
up?
types of creatives.
What do you got coming up next? We want to make sure we plug what's happening.
Certainly.
Yeah, no, Rock, I'd love to come to that. Josh, if you're available, Joy, and it's so great to see you. Josh, if you're here, Josh Kerbo, a senior graphic communication student at KSU and aspiring design professional. We've done such cool work together that it's just great to get you on here. Yeah, come on here. How's it going, dude?
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm still new to StreamYard. It's going well. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, I am a graphic communication student at KSU, and hopefully kind of establishing a new basis for the user experience at Mixed Deity. And so we've just kind of been collaborating to see how we can make that better and make it more accommodable for as many people as possible, as many different types of artists. And I kind of pivoted into UX from kind of trying to crack the, or more, I should say, demystify the Atlanta art scene as a visual artist for pretty much since I was a very young child. I've been interested in pursuing the Atlanta art scene and kind of just like distributing my work wherever I can put it, and that's kind of been what's been my mission.
Has there been a project that's really excited you over the last year or two, whether it's something you did or something that you saw that really, like, if a layman wanted to understand the promise of UX and what can be gotten out of it? Tell us about just something that's given you inspiration over the last year.
Yeah, so I mean, just like, with UX, we really our focus is to promote as much growth as possible, and growth comes from like getting people involved and trying to accommodate for their experiences, and that really just comes from like having a genuine interest in people and having like hearing their stories and what their perspectives are, and being working in the Atlanta art scene is like been such a like an outlet for that. And that's how I actually like came across Mixed Deity, was through Atlanta art. With this is definitely kind of, it's gonna sound promo I mean Mixed Deity, it's been one of those experiences like you described that have just like kind of made me really inspired to like see where kind of the overlap is with everybody that is a creative and pursuing like creativity and a like and with an authenticity. And it's just like that's because it's like who we are. Like we make things. If you're someone that's drawn to make things, and I feel like you're kind of doing it because you really want to, not because as there's a I guess like monetary incentive or whatever the case may be. But it's I've
Yeah.
like when I first kind
Feel
of
that.
came across, like it was just like I recognized that y'all were on a similar kind of like pursuit to kind of bring these different types of people together, and with user experience, that's what I do. So it's just it's a good alignment, and it's something
You
that is I think is mutually beneficial.
Yeah, you hit it smoothly. Josh, tilt your camera down. We're getting more of the sky than we're getting of your head. But
Sorry, I'm on my
that
iPad
was
right
perfect.
now.
Listen, if you'd like, Rock, I know I told you stop show running, but do you want to talk about some of the events that are happening this week?
Do we have the present feature set up? Did we get
Yeah,
that?
boom.
Okay. All right. Why don't we just go scroll through these and I'll riff it. I'm gonna go off the cuff on this one. Let's see what we got. I want to do some shout out. We're backing small business. Wait, what are we doing? What is this?
Yeah, this is the American Express Backing Small Businesses webinar. If you are a small
The
business,
American Express backing. I'm not sure how this got in the stream. I'm not sure if this is what we're trying to do. What's the next event?
I'll tell you, this came here from the Little 5 Points Business Association. And when you see a large corporation that talks about sponsoring small business, you go, yeah, I don't know about this. But actually, a couple of Little 5 Points businesses won this last year. And so they wanted us to make sure that if you are running a business, don't go, American Express, I can't do this. But go to that webinar tomorrow. Lack of expectations is what cripples people when they're trying to start a business. Get in here. It's tomorrow at 12, March 13th, and watch it, see more details. And they'd love you to put yourself in the mix here.
Go ahead and throw that link in the comments if you got one. What's the next one? What's the next one?
Do.
We gotta kick our show off in like 2 minutes, so let's burn through these. We got the film summit. What day is that? The Cherokee Film Summit. Where's the?
It's March 14th.
March 14th. So that's kind of 2 days from now. In 2 days from now, Cherokee Film Summit. That's the again, these are the oh man, tell me who it is. The Georgia Production Partnership. This is the major film organization in Atlanta. Good guys. We've done some stuff with them. We love them. Next, what's next? Again, Georgia Production Partnership. This is the 18th. They have another event about, and it's basically just different versions of how to get connected in the film industry in Atlanta. And they deal with the major industry too. So what's next? Submit your film. This is a showcase love letter for Atlanta. Okay, so this is the Audio Video Film Club. Yeah, Audio Video Film Club or Audio Video Club in Atlanta. These guys do a bunch of fun, like independent, accessible stuff. March 22nd, we got something. Throw that up there. What do we got next? Fire Nation Crew. This is who I want to talk about. March 31st, time 3 p.m. Now there's a documentary happening. There's dance happening. There is the magazine release happening. This is a ticketed event. You got to pay money to get to this, I'm pretty sure. But it is definitely worth checking out. And I'm sure there's going to be some content coming through on, and we've been working with them for a minute and we love them. And I don't know if we can get a couple of promo tickets, but we will get back to you on that. We have a little bit of time and maybe we can add that to the raffle. Next up, we got the roller derby. Love the roller derby. This is happening on the 16th. They just got a new location and it's exactly what you think it is. It's girls rolling around and knocking each other over. And I cannot wait to take my daughter there. They do one show per month and they got a new spot over at the Agnes Scott College. What's next? It's us. It's us talking, and we look great. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's no next. We've hit it all. So congratulations.
Oh, well, we got some featured events. What about the mixed deity events? Did we get graphics for those up?
We didn't make graphics for those.
Okay. So I'll just tell you what they are. We're doing a after party tonight. Today is the first episode of Takeover Tuesdays Co-Creator Incubator live cast, and tonight we're going to do an in-person party, after party at the Media Cafe in Little Five Points. It's a BYOB party. It's open to everyone. If you want to come down and connect in person, please do. Tell your friends. And then this Saturday, if you're in Atlanta, we're also kicking off a new weekly pre-gaming social from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's a BYOB party with an open mic, and it's a gaming pre-game social. So you can bring games, board games, chess, darts, whatever inspires. Oh, okay, we got that one. That's an older graphic, but it's gonna work. Pre-gaming social Saturday 5 to 10. And then that's it. Those are the only two like mixed deity events we got going on: the Saturday pregame and the Tuesday after party. And so that's what's up there. All right, look at that. It is 3:01. It is time to move over to a second portion of our show. Do we have a graphic for this, Brandon?
You really should have made one next time. Like I can show the regular background, but you know.
All right. Well, we have. Hold on, we got one. We got this one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Incubator.
Wait. Wait.
All right, moving on. I'm going right into it, Brandon.
Go for it.
Pace is the priority this time. All right, we can stumble all we want, but we can't slow down. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-Creator Incubator. Thank you for being here today. To get you orientated in the spirit of streamlining creative collaboration and giving status to those who help out our communities the most, the Co-Creator Incubator is a project development game intended for inspired creative ideas. These ideas can develop into businesses or careers, or can exist simply for the creative satisfaction of bringing your random passion and unlikely idea to life. And nothing more is required. Why do we do this? What's the catch? Well, frankly, it's what I felt like doing with my life. So I'm doing it. And the question is, what do you feel like doing with your life? You know, whatever it is, you can probably do it. And Mixed Deity's Co-Creator Incubator can probably help. So before we kick things off, let's check in with one of our creative alumni and see how things are going. And this is the part where we bring on the guy who didn't show up today. So let's see, do we have any other creative alumni among us that we could tap into? Yes, we do. I'd like to bring Mr. Jeremy to the stage. Jeremy, what are we doing here? Let's do this, and then give me Jeremy somehow. Where you at, Jeremy?
Hey, Rock. Am I displaying better for you now?
I think so. Yeah. I think Brandon and I are both hitting buttons, and I'm going to stop hitting buttons. Brandon, you got this, okay? Jeremy, you have experienced an early version of the Co-Creator Incubator, but when it was just called Creators Club back at the old church, when we were just meeting up on Tuesdays and doing random stuff, not nearly as evolved as it is now, but we still had successes back then. Can you just tell us real quick about what you did with the earlier version of the Incubator and how it went and if it was helpful or not?
Yeah. And I'll see what I can do to make this brief because we could go a lot of directions with this. I would say from my angle, a lot of the things I've wanted to make have been more like solo projects, which is not always the best use case to try to test what's possible in the Co-Creator Incubator. But depending on how much you want to get into, you and I have developed some things as far as kind of structuring this whole thing. But one thing that I found about Tuesday nights when we were doing that a couple of years ago was just that it was a safe place to pitch ideas and get real feedback from other people who were trying to get their own things off the ground. So, I mean, there's the mechanical process of just making a plan, but there's also the process of having somebody who will actually hold your idea and care about it. And that's part of how an artist gets to know that they actually exist. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I just really for this segment, the goal is to just demonstrate that even though we have been like a growing project, that even though, see, this is me rambling, that we've already had even in our fragmented, broken early primordial state that the actual mission of the incubator was having some successes. So did it affect your career did it personally or professionally or creatively affect you in a positive way? That's really the point that we want to know.
Yeah, I would definitely say that it did. Now, I'm no longer local to the Atlanta area, but during the time when I was getting connected to Mixed Deity, I was pretty new to that area. And so while I was trying to get certain creative things off the ground, I was also kind of floundering at the beginning because I wasn't really connected to much local community. It's great to have friends that are states away and you can still talk to people that way, but I felt a lot more grounded by having the Mixed Deity community. It was nice to be able to cheer other people on and to know that they were cheering me on too.
That's fantastic. Awesome. Cool. Awesome. That's so great. And I love that we've taken it virtual now because we can include there are other members of the community that have moved far away as well, but this is a fun way to be able to include them as the story continues and also still have a home spot here in Atlanta should you ever come decide to visit us again.
Which I would love to. I'd love to see the new space.
Oh, it's a riot. It's a hoot. It's a hoot.
It's a hoot and a holler.
All right, we're gonna next piece of this story here is let's explain how to play the game. All right, so the Co-Creator Incubator, this is how it works in its most simplistic state. You earn points when you help others with their projects, and after you level up, other people can earn points by helping you. The game has 3 phases and 3 levels each. Each level unlocks more support through Mixed Deity, including but not limited to database access, mentorship, volunteer support, collaboration support, locations, marketing, nonprofit partnerships, investment capital, legal support, and an entire community willing to help remove barriers from whatever else might be getting in the way of your creation. To join the game, you just simply go to mixdeity.com/play, where you can start earning points, submitting and finding and connecting with your future creative life. On behalf of Mixed Deity Media Cafe and the Creative Drinking Club, thank you for joining us. And now it is time to play the game. Welcome to the Co-Creator Incubator. Let's meet today's creatives. Who are we? Oh, yeah, that's right. We had a no-show. It's always a thing, isn't it? This is the thing about creatives, they're just questionably reliable. But that's actually the point of the game, is to find out who shows up and who doesn't. Because if you don't know that before you start investing, you are going to have some rough days ahead. So this is a bit of a filtering process to where we just invite all kinds of people to come. It's a very open format, but the key is to see who actually shows up, who actually goes through the gauntlet, who actually does what they say, and then we start to know who it is we want to partner with, who we want to invest in, and who we want to bring into our interpersonal circles. That is the whole point. So we expect a certain amount of people not to show up. We expect lots of people to say lots of things and not come through. We're focusing on the ones who do. Let's see, what is our first category today?
Well, we've got just pipeline idea board check-in. We've got the gauntlet itself. I don't know if you'd like to put somebody in the hot seat. All of us
I'm gonna volunteer Josh today because I know Josh is working on a particular project and we're just gonna throw him under the bus. Sorry, Josh.
Yeah, perfect.
While we're getting ready for you, Josh, do you have those the 8 questions for the gauntlet?
Are you you're speaking in reference to the site maps and the journey maps and the
yeah. Hey, Brandon,
okay.
Can you throw the 8 questions in the chat just so everybody knows what they are and so that Josh can have a minute to kind of mull them over before we throw them in the hot seat?
Sure, that's coming.
Okay, fantastic. While he's doing that, I'm going to do a quick pipeline idea board check-in. So this is how the idea board works. When a new idea makes it through the first level, it goes to live on the idea board on mixdeity.com. From there, creatives need to find their collaborators to move into the next phase. If you're looking to collaborate, earn points, or level up your game, go to the idea board on mixdeity.com and browse everything from brand new additions to old orphaned ideas that sadly have yet to find their collaborators and maybe kind of dying on the vine. But a good idea is a good idea, and who knows, you might just be the perfect person to bring it back to life. There is nothing that gives an idea momentum like interest of other people. And that is the key to this game. find your co-creators. But before you can find a collaborator, your new idea must be ready for the best elevator pitch possible. So let's move on to our first round today, and let's see what we've got going on. Because if you can't explain your idea, then how are you going to get people to help you with it? All right. Let's take a look at a couple of the ideas we have on the idea board. Did you want to? Are you sending those questions over, Brandon, or should
Yeah,
I?
I'm good. We're ready to go.
Okay, so let's just throw just a couple. If you go to mixed-ed.com/idea, you can browse and join ideas. We got music ideas, events ideas, game ideas, networking, dance, photography, model, culinary arts, mindfulness, LGBTQ classes, video, media projects, active projects, finished projects. These are all the, well, not all of, but this is some of the ideas that have come to us through the last few years. And if you can search by category, or you can just browse. So, for example, I see the Justice League of Queers is in here. They were working on an event. We actually did that with them. There's a fashion show that's inactive. They wanted to launch it, but it hasn't found its collaborators yet. Afro Kickback by Diom. He actually ended up doing this project. We helped him find some people and a location, and I think he's doing a different incarnation of this at another spot. The one-man show by who is this? By Ben Robinson. This is an orphaned idea. We don't know what happened to Ben Robinson, but if anybody loves what he's doing, they can reach out to him. So feel free to browse through those ideas on the board. But first, before we don't have any new ones. Do we have any new ones from last week? No, I don't think so. So we don't have any new ideas to revisit, but we do have two other phases of the game to check into. We have the development phase and the delivery phase. But first, let me check in with Josh. Josh, did you get those questions?
They're in private. Yeah, they're in private chat.
All right, so go ahead and just sort of review through those. We're going to put you in a gauntlet in a minute or two here, and you're going to have to essentially give concise answers to each of those questions. And the purpose is not that the panelists do not judge whether they like the idea or not. That is not the goal at all. The goal is to make sure they understand the idea. So let's imagine that you step into an elevator with a multimillionaire, and you've got 90 seconds to tell him about this idea that you've got, because he could decide to fund it right there, right? Well, you have to be able to explain it concisely, quickly, and comprehensively. And if he has a question, you need to also be able to answer it concisely, quickly, and comprehensively before that elevator ride is over. So those 8 questions are designed to be able to help bring in your pitch, narrow it down. And if you are able to answer all of those questions without getting too many questions back from our panelists, then that means you've explained it well. And we'll do a speed round at the end to revisit any questions that were confusing to the panelists, and we'll find out if your idea is explained well enough, if your elevator pitch is concise and informative enough to move into the idea board so we can start activating your project. Okay, so just so you understand the concept of what we're doing, go ahead and review those ideas and get your answers kind of prepped. And in the meantime, let's look at what we've got happening in the development. Now, remember, the incubator's in 3 phases. The discovery phase, where we learn everything about what it is you want to do and understand it as clearly as possible. The development phase, where we learn about every way that you're going to actually do this, who's going to be on board, how it's going to be on board, how it's going to happen, the when, the what, all that stuff, understanding the plan. And then the third phase, which is the delivery phase, which is where we activate everything that we've planned and we push all the resources that Xdeity has behind you to bring it to life. So let's see what we have in the development phase right now, which is the second phase. Brandon, do you want to take a look at that and tell us what's going on in the development phase? The development check-in. Oh, I can't hear you. Your mic's quiet. All right, I'm gonna run with this.
It's taking me a minute to get what is in development right now.
Well, that's a great question. What we have, well, I'm just gonna read the card because I can't remember any of this stuff. Creatives Concierge. Oh, it's Creatives Concierge is what we're developing. Creatives Concierge is developing our interconnected networking system, and we need some test concierges to test out and develop our referral and payout systems. Looking for people who are a major staple in their community and are well known and trusted in their craft. In the second phase, it's currently in the second phase of the incubator, the Creatives Concierge. I've already got through the discovery phase, but now it's time to develop the pathways for our interconnected network and refine and finalize the business model so we can move it into the final delivery phase and really get this community tool fully delivered to the creative community. So if you want to earn some points with this project, you can find it on the idea board under mixdd.com under projects in development. Any questions about what the Creatives Concierge is, first of all? This is an open question for anybody. No questions. Wow.
Thoroughly explained.
All right. Well, that's what's happening in the development phase. Now let's move into the what's the other phase we got to explore here? We're revisiting. These are essentially projects that have come through the first round in past episodes, past projects, and we're revisiting to make sure that the momentum of them keeps alive. Okay. Delivery projects check-in. So this is the last phase of the incubator. It's been through the discovery phase. It's been through the development phase. Now in the last phase, the delivery phase, which is the media cafe. Let's see here. We got through discovery and development, but now that we are active, it's time for the delivery phase to bring the project across to the home stretch. So the project is currently working to build out a kitchenette to house food and drinks and serve as a set to film culinary or beverage themed content. If you want to earn some points with this project, go to the idea board at mixdd.com and look for the Media Cafe. The Media Cafe is being delivered right now. It exists, but it's not in its full incarnation. And looking for some community support, maybe some, I don't know, cabinets, countertops, microwaves. Basically, we're going to try and slap together a kitchenette that looks nice and functions. Anybody who wants to be involved in that project, reach out on that case. Okay. I think we are ready now to get to round one, the discovery phase. New ideas, pitch gauntlet. Okay, we're gonna ask our player the 8 questions. We're gonna post a text for them on the screen. That's you, Brandon. Take notes on each panelist. Are you gonna be taking the notes on the panelist questions, or should I?
I'll take the notes. Okay. Josh just dropped out. Okay. So Josh, I'm sure that Josh is frantically refreshing as we speak.
Okay.
So while Josh frantically refreshes, do you want to talk more about the Media Cafe for a minute?
I don't. What I would like to do is poll the panelists and ask them if they have any questions about how the game works or about what's going on. Anybody have anybody want to know more about like what we're about to do?
Would you tell me again, Rock? You mentioned this, but I think I missed it. Are we saving our questions till after he's had a chance to answer all the questions, or are we taking it question by question?
So we're going to go through each question, and each panelist basically says that his answer to the question explains it. And you don't need more information to understand the answer to that question. You're satisfied with the answer, or you're not satisfied with the answer, and you have a question about his answer. And then he won't answer right then. We're going to take a note of what your question is and move on to the next question that in the gauntlet. He's going to go through all of them, and then we're going to touch base with some. If we had 3 contestants, we would go through all 3 contestants, and then they would have time to revisit their answers. And then we do a speed round at the end where they basically give the answers to your questions. And then if everybody's satisfied with those answers, then their pitch is complete and they can graduate to the idea board and start their journey creatively exploring and growing their idea. If not, then they don't graduate to the idea board until they can explain their idea and satisfy everybody on the panel. They have to just try again. If you can't explain it well, then you cannot get collaborators or support. You've got to be able to explain it. So that's what's happening. Are we back, Josh? Are you ready for the hot seat?
I got logged out of the screen, so I'm on my phone now.
Okay, phones seem to work pretty good.
You're back. It seems to be happening.
What do you think about rotating sideways?
It seems like it's great as it is.
My inner filmmaker loves this. Okay, Brandon, I'm gonna let you take this away. Are you ready, Joe?
You've got to be. There's only one answer.
In the midst of like technical difficulties, but I have like a few answers, but we can go ahead and try.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. First of all, tell us about the idea. What is it?
Um, so my first idea with mixed deity is revising the user experience, um, and what it's hold on, my fault. I'm trying to what it's for is to kind of just streamline everyone's
Wait,
accessibility.
wait a second. Just tell us what it is. What revive the user experience? How?
Uh, Making it more accessible and the aesthetics more contemporary.
Is this overall for the entire website? Is it for a mobile? How would we interface with it?
So we're starting by developing a mobile interface that we can hopefully like translate into other platforms, other web platforms.
Okay.
So,
Uh,
so, so, Josh, in a single sentence, literally, what is it?
Mixed deity user experience revisions.
But is it an app?
It is an app.
Okay. All right, that's the answer to the first question. Let's view the panelists. Panelists, are you satisfied with that answer? Do you know what it is? If you're satisfied, just say I'm satisfied. Nicholas, are you satisfied with that answer?
I'm, I'm kind of unsure exactly what the app would do.
Well, we're going to get to 7 more questions. Just do you know that it is a thing?
Okay.
It's
Yep.
an app that helps mixed deity, I guess, do something.
Okay. Yep.
Yes, yeah. You're satisfied with that answer as
Yeah, I'm satisfied.
just the strictly what it is. Hey, Brandon, could you throw these questions in the chat also so the panelists know what questions are coming? Because
they
then they'll
are
know
they
they
are
are
they
in
are
there.
currently in the chat, and anybody that's curious, if they go to the private chat tab on the right side, it will have a list of the questions.
Perfect. Yeah. So because we did divide it up in a kind of pretty specific way. So if you have a quick foresight on that, then it might help understand the parameters of each one. Okay. Joy, are you satisfied with Josh's answer on that first question there? Do you understand?
I think I was a little confused as to what exactly it was.
That's okay.
So no.
So no. Okay. So you're confused as to what it is. All right. So that's the first re-answer. Jeremy, were you satisfied with that answer, or do you have a question?
I'll have more specific questions about details, but for this stage of this process, I'm satisfied.
Okay. All right. So question number 1, we got 2 satisfied and we got 1 unsure. So we will revisit this in the speed round at the end. Question number 2.
Who is this for, and how does it help?
It is ideally for everyone, every creative that comes through the mixed deity co-creative pipeline, co-creative incubator pipeline. It will, yes.
Okay. That's your answer. Panelists, are you do you think that's are you satisfied with that answer to that question, or do you have more questions about that answer? Doc Mental.
Yeah, I understand it.
Okay. Joy.
I'm satisfied.
Satisfied. All right. Jeremy.
Sounds like it's tailored specifically to this community. So I would say yes, I'm satisfied.
All right. We aced question number 2. Nice. Question number 3. What do we got?
Yeah, what is this similar to from a design perspective, and how is it different?
Equate it to functionally a social media app, something like Instagram or Facebook, minus the emphasis on sort of like uh, social media, kind of like advertising and marketing, like feeding content. It does it in a way that's um, structured differently than a traditional social media platform, where as like those are for like kind of solely like connecting with people and creating content, and still kind of like ironing that out. But this is more kind of content driven, more production driven. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. How do we feel about that answer? Doc Mental, what do you think? Is that you satisfied with that answer, or do you have questions?
No, I am satisfied.
Okay. Joy, what do you think?
Oh, unsatisfied.
Okay. And Jeremy, what do you think?
Satisfied.
Okay, we aced round number 3. Nice. Moving on. Off to a rough start, but we are striding now. Brandon, what's the next question?
What are the elements that need to come together for this to work that don't already exist?
Define user flows. And so user flows consist of the actual kind of pathway that uh, the user is going to take uh, on their journey to reach to whatever goal that they're trying to accomplish with Mixtape. So because it's such a extensive platform with many different kind of like converging and diverging uh, directions, uh, it's important that we define the flow so that we're able to like unify all of those kind of different directions and make it feel uh, like a unified experience instead of like the creative drinking club being one thing, the concierge being one thing, the co-creator being one thing. They can all exist together, but it needs to the flows have to be defined in order to communicate that like to the user and make it feel seamless and actually like something that is practical and enjoyable and equitable to use. And so that's what I'm working on right now.
Okay. The Brandon, can you hit us with that question again? What was the actual question?
The question is, what elements need to exist to complete it that don't already exist?
Okay. Doc Mental, are you satisfied with his answer on that question, or do you have questions about it?
I have questions.
Okay, what's your question? What's your question? We're not going to answer right now. We just want to make a note of what it is. We'll revisit it in the speed round. What's your question, Doc?
Well, the initial question. Let me read it.
You want to leave that up on the screen, Brandon?
What elements are needed? So what do you need to define to make this happen?
Okay.
You kind of
All
said
right.
what's going to happen, but not what's needed to make it happen.
We're not going to answer it right now. Just we're going to make a note of this question. Is that your whole question, Doc?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
What is needed to?
All right. We're going to make a note of that question and we'll revisit it on the speed round. Joy, were you satisfied with his answer, or did you have a question?
I actually had the same question, just what just in full, like answering exactly what is needed, I think is what I was trying to figure out.
Okay. And Jeremy.
Yeah, similarly, if I understood the explanation correctly, it sounds like you're trying to take what already exists and make it more intuitive so people can find their way to the content that's already there without it being troublesome. But if it's more complicated than that, then that's what I would want answered.
If it's I see the P, right, gotcha. Okay, we're gonna make a note of these questions. It looks like we got a stumbling block here on this question. Let's go ahead and move on. We're gonna revisit this on the speed round. Josh, you have a little time to think about your second rebuttal. And what's the next question, Brandon? And go ahead and just leave it up on the screen the whole time.
What's your idea's relationship to money?
Um,
There we go. Ooh.
I would say that my sort of my idea is in continuity with mixed 80s ideas regarding money, where I'm um, it's not monetarily incentivized. Um, and so I think that in the future, uh, there will be kind of uh, opportunities that kind of reveal themselves in that way. But currently, it's uh, well, it's just about growth in general, and so uh, monetary is sort of a given. Uh, Perhaps more distantly, but it's not very. I don't really think about that.
Okay. All right, judges. What is the question is what is your idea's relationship to money? Doc, were you satisfied with that answer or did you have questions?
Satisfied.
Satisfied. Joy, satisfied or questions? We got
I'm
that's a
satisfied.
satisfied. Okay, and Jeremy.
Yeah, my basic question on this one would be, is this platform going to include and or interface with something that the payments would go through, or would that be something completely separate?
That's a great question.
In the use case, in the event that we can't just coordinate community resources through bartering services among community members, for instance, if this is something that will require some form of money to move, is that going to happen in or out of this app?
Great question. That is a great question. All right, let's make a note of that. And we got two passes out of 3 on that round. Pretty good, but we have one more to revisit. So next question.
Josh, what's your role in this idea in making it happen?
I am a UX designer. Uh, I I think as I'm collaborating with you all, with Rock and Brandon on this, that I am associate designer. Um, a lot of what I'm working with is stuff that has already been kind of laid down, like in terms of like groundwork, and so um, kind of like coming in as a practitioner of these things that already exist. Um, so that's how I would classify myself, assistant designer.
How do we feel?
Doc, what's your you satisfied or you have questions?
Yes. Satisfied.
Satisfied. Joy. That's a nod. This is also going to be an audio podcast, so you can verbally respond if you want to. And
My bad.
Jeremy. It's all good.
Yes, I'm satisfied.
Okay, great. That's we aced that one. What is next? How many more questions we got, Brandon?
This is the last one. Well, there's 2 more. What are the biggest challenges that need to be overcome for this to be a success?
What are the biggest challenges to overcome?
Deep question.
The well, testing is something that is something that we haven't done. Well, that hasn't happened from my end with the new assets that have been created and the ideas that we're trying to assemble. Really, kind of like getting a prototype in the community members' hands that they can give us like fresh feedback on is going to inform a lot of how like how we move forward from that point. And so that's one aspect. Could you ask the question again? I'm sorry.
What
It's
are
written on the screen.
Yeah, what are the biggest challenges to overcome for this to be a success?
Biggest challenge, Josh. You've got this. What's the hardest part of this so far?
Right now, the hardest part has been sitting down and hashing it out, doing the nitty gritty. Kind of like pulling some all nighters. We haven't had an opportunity to like kind of work in that sort of fashion yet, where we can like really kind of just like dig into it. I think after that point, I think my answer would change. But it's I guess in that sense, it's really been like a scheduling thing.
That's a real answer.
Okay. All right.
I hope that all
Okay. Doc,
That's
are you satisfied with that answer, or you have questions about it?
I'm satisfied.
Okay. Joy?
I'm satisfied.
Okay. Jeremy?
That answer makes a lot of sense to me because that can really disrupt the momentum of a project. So yeah, I'm satisfied.
Okay. All right. I think Joshua bounced off for a second. He'll probably be back here in a second. There he is. Ooh, he's all right. Hey, Joshua, do that phone turning thing again if you could, so we can see your beautiful face. There you are. He just pops right in there. Okay, so you got 3 passes on that one, East, that round, Josh. I think we have one last.
this is the last one. What does success for this project look like to you?
Man, it looks like creatives is such a, I mean, artists, makers are able to kind of who are involved in the platform, able to share with other makers, like something that allows them to kind of cut through the noise of their of whatever their challenges are, and creatively, and sort of just like get the ball rolling on whatever they want to do, and in a really intuitive and kind of like a modern a way that stuff like platforms like YouTube and I mentioned Instagram before. Social media platforms allow you to like kind of create in a approachable but also like structured way. My vision for this application is largely similar, but centralizing like community, embracing community, while like being able to kind of collaborate in a way that's like to me brand new, to me just sort of unprecedented in a way, and so that's my scope right now, but I could see it like expanding even further once it's something that is like practical for people's like hands and stuff like that. So yeah.
All right. I like that. Okay. Judges, panelists, what say you, Doc?
I understand.
Okay. Joy.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
All right. Jeremy.
Same. I'm satisfied.
Cool. We aced that round. Okay. Now that is fantastic. Now, Brandon, just as a quick refresher, let's revisit the questions that the panelists had from earlier. Just what were the rebuttal questions for Josh? We're going to give them to him now, and then we're going to do visit a couple things, and we'll circle back for a speed round.
Well, folks wanted to have just a stronger idea of what it is. What is the function? What is the item that's being made? Folks wanted to know a little bit more about the ideas, like what are the elements in terms of, can you put your finger on what is the things that are needed here? And the ideas relationship to money was the third thing that there were questions about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Relationship to money,
You know,
elements needed, and defining what the actual item is. So Josh, take a minute to sort of mull over those questions. We're going to be back with you in just a minute after we go to a quick we're going to go to a quick video from our sponsor. Can we do that? Can we go to the sponsor?
yeah, hit it. You want me to hit it? Anyone can hit it.
I'll do it. I'm going to hit the button. I can do this. All right. We'll be right back with a power speed round with Josh to find out, will he graduate to the idea board? Will he complete the first level of the Co-Creator Incubator? We don't know what's going to happen. We'll find out right after these messages.
I bet your live stream's a lot like this live stream, right? Kind of looks terrible. Kind of sounds terrible. It can be better. Watch this. First thing that would be nice is if we had a little more room, right? Like instead of boxed in by these little cell phone cameras, we could just stretch. Yeah, that's nice. That's a lot better. And what if I could actually hear you? Wouldn't that be nice? With crystal clear, beautiful sound. And what about having a fresh slate to start with? A blank slate, you know? Or what about some nice lighting, perhaps? A little light would be good. Yeah, that's better.
All right, welcome back to the Co-Creator Incubator. We are about to get into the speed round now. Now, we've had Josh in the hot plate for a minute. He's gotten through, I think, 4 or 5 out of 8 questions, aced them. He's got three follow-up questions from our panelists who want to know a little bit more about what he's saying. Now, if he aces these 3 questions, he will move on to the idea board on Mixedia, and he has begun his journey through the Co-Creator Incubator, and we're very excited about that. If not, well, he's going to have to go back, revisit his answers, perfect his elevator pitch, and he can try again at a future date. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring you back out, Mr. Joshua. Actually, let me bring you out here, Brandon. Do you want to walk him through these 3 questions? We can see if we can. This is a speed round.
Yeah,
we can do this.
Well, before we do this, Rock, I'm going to slightly put you on the spot. Are we allowed to cheat? One of these has an answer that's kind of obvious, and I could provide some slight amount of assistance here.
Is that the money one?
Yeah, this is an app
on that one. Yeah, I already cheated.
Yeah, all right. This is an app for a membership site, so the relationship to money seems kind of baked in.
Okay.
But yeah,
well, if you're gonna cheat, you gotta do it under the table. So you gotta sneak him a text message or a comment.
Josh, next time, I'll sneak you a text message.
All right. So
now,
let's next power round. Let's do the speed round, Brandon. Hot seat.
Let's talk in a little more detail about what is it. Give that big view of what it is and what does it need in order to exist.
Dun 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 dun. Suspense music.
Well, the app is a global creatives network, equipped with everything that a creative would need to platform their project and be able to profit from it, monetize it, and market it. And
okay. Okay. All right. That's what it is. Panelists, do you like his updated answer? Is that satisfy, or do you still have questions? Let's go to Doc.
Much better.
Okay. Got thumbs up. Joy. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And Jason, Jeremy.
Yes. That sounds great.
Okay, nice. Speed round, the rebuttal, aced it. And the second question is about, what is it? Items needed?
What does it need? What does this need to exist?
What that doesn't already exist.
Yeah.
Or wait, no. What was the question that the panelist had about this?
Yes. Yeah. No. Just
Unsatisfied.
more specific. Yeah. What is it? What does it need? Not from a technical thing, because you talked about user flows. Maybe telling us a little more about what a user flow needs to be constructed would do it.
Yeah.
Just what needs to happen.
Physical things or pieces, what would essentially block, like things. Here's a way to, maybe we should rephrase this question. What are the barriers preventing it happen that would need to be removed? Is that the same question in reverse?
It's pretty close. The human English is very intricate, but
Yeah.
that's pretty close to it.
Like if we were building a car, well, we would need tires, we'd need seats, we would need, a garage, whatever. Like
Yeah.
the tools that are needed, the physical elements, if money is needed, if time is needed, what are the things that are most needed that need to exist? Because sometimes we might be inventing something that literally doesn't exist. Like there's no mathematical equation for it or chemical compound. It's something that's entirely new. And
What?
so do the
Yeah,
pieces exist already?
because you know more about this. What makes a user flow happen? Is it just an issue of time? Is it an issue of test users? Is it an issue of money? What makes a user flow get constructed?
It would be research. It would be conducting like actual user interviews. So that's something that has has to happen that has not happened yet. And that would it consist of like I mean interviewing uh, members of the co-creator incubator and kind of like gauging their experience that they've already had and addressing well identifying their pain points with the platform and then from that point like using that to see where we can uh, kind of like organize those in a hierarchy from uh, most intense pain to kind of like lower priority and then addressing them, knocking them out, and incorporating them into the design. But I need to connect with people who have actually like the uh, what was the term you used? Senior members, the
Yeah.
people who have been through this platform, people who have um,
All right.
people who
I
come
think we.
from church.
All right. Let's hear that. Let's hear the rebuttal on that one. Doc, are you satisfied with that answer, or do you still have questions?
No,
What is?
I'm satisfied.
Okay. All right. Joy.
I think that one made more sense to me now.
Okay. Okay. We know what's needed. Jeremy.
I just want to say, Josh, I really appreciate what it is for you to be in the hot seat right now when answering some of these questions is like we haven't identified what the user's pain points are yet. So how do we really answer these questions? So I'm really excited that you're making this, by the way. If you feel like we're putting you through some grueling process, it's awesome that this is happening. And I would say I'm satisfied with your answer.
All right. All right. Okay. So last one, we have aced it. Josh, you have made it through every single round, every single question. You vetted it, aced it. You did the thing. We have one last one, and this will be the make or break. What is the final question from our panelists that Josh needs to give his updated answer for? Brandon?
No, that's it. We've hit them all.
Wasn't there a money answer question?
I don't have. Oh, yeah. Well, I feel like we answered it. We cheated on that last answer.
Yeah, we cheated, but he still has to answer
All right,
the question. He may not
Josh.
accept our
All right, fine. Josh, what's the idea's relationship to money?
I will preface by saying it's complicated, but to simplify it, it's I want to prioritize the experience before anything, and in my in my field, that's where good design comes from. I just want to create good design, and so that's something that um, will be considered like kind of more thoroughly as we like outsource developers and stuff like that and make it to something practical. But it's about it for me. For me, right now, it starts with embracing the people, the experience, the community, and then kind of like however much we can do underneath our budget. You know, that's what I want to push that.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say that's the relationship is it's to
Cool.
prioritize people over profit.
Okay. Okay. Let's find out the final answers. Doc, are you satisfied with Josh's updated answer to that question? Or do you still have questions?
Uh, no, I'm satisfied with his answer. The only question I had was more about the actual question.
Oh, you had
That
a question about the question.
I got a question about the question.
Oh,
When you
okay.
when you ask about relationship to money, are you asking about how this ideal is going to generate money, or how money is needed for said ideal?
So that's a great question about a question, and this is why we do this so we can refine these. We have had to tweak our other questions a little bit to make them more well spoken. If you don't understand the question, you're not going to be able to understand the answer. So that is a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. So let's take the side tangent real quick. The nature of the question is supposed, and I'm going to go ahead and refer to the panelists on this. If there's a way we can phrase this question to better articulate what we're actually asking, then we would accept that input. So the nature of the question that it's trying to answer is, in the world of capitalism, we all understand how that works. You buy something, you sell it for more than you bought it for, and then you make a profit, or you do gatekeeping, or there's all different types of ways of moving money around in relationship to value and people and community to make a profit and to run the machine of capitalism, right? In the art sector, a lot of things are motivated, most things creatively are motivated by not money. They're motivated by a need, a want, a desire, a curiosity, an inspiration. And that's what starts them out. However, in the hard realities of life, at some point, the development and growth of this innate idea that is just intended to be a goodwill venture is going to hit a point where it has to engage with money in some way, shape, or form. Maybe you need benefactors. Maybe you need donators. Maybe you need to open a nonprofit. Maybe you need subscriptions. Maybe you need to sell a product. Maybe you need to get investors. Maybe you need to generate money in some way. How does it impact money? So does it actually generate money for other people? Like at some point, commerce is going to hit this thing. Is it a product that can be duplicated and shipped out? Is that what the economic plan is? Is it a service that is limited to each individual person? Is there a percentage game? Is there royalties? Like, is there money's gonna collide with this thing at some point. There's gonna be overhead. There's going to be a value proposition that could be monetized. It's going to potentially conflict with the overall artistic intention of why it was created, or it's not going to conflict. For example, early days on Facebook, there were no ads, there was no suggested posts or all this other crap. It was like, oh, there's people here. I know this person. I know this person. It was fun. Now you go on Facebook and literally one person out of every 4 posts is a human. The other 4 is ads, suggested posts. In case you missed it, you should follow this page. The monetization of Facebook changed what it is so drastically that the relationship of money to Facebook, what it was when it started versus what it is now, is wildly different. And it changes the art. So the question is, what is the relationship to this art to money, and how is it potentially going to change the purpose of the art? How do we protect the art from being ruined by affecting it with money? If you have investors, you're beholden to the investors. If you run a nonprofit, you're beholden to the government. If you are selling your services, you're beholden to your customers. If it's a community donation thing, then you have to run fundraising campaigns. All of these things. Does the money conflict with the usage of it? Does it not? What is the relationship of the idea to money? I don't know a better way to articulate it, but I'm open to hearing some suggestions.
Well, for me, my question really was this a question was, do you need money to make said dream happen, or how is said dream going to make money?
Yeah.
And also in that, at what point does that intersection happen? Can you build the entire thing before you have to monetize it, or do you need money before you can finish it?
Right. That's my question. Is the question about, does he need money to make this happen, or how does this thing make money?
Okay,
Because that's the confusing part of the question.
I got it. That does make it more that does articulate it better. Yeah, good point.
Honestly, it's a question that's kind of intentionally broad in the phrasing, because the way that any project interacts with money is going to be so broad that almost any term that you use kind of pins in the idea. Like an app might have a different relationship with money than a play, that might have a different relationship with money than a movie. And it's just something where everybody's got to kind of bring their own context to the answer.
Right, but there's only two reasons that money is involved. Is does he need money to make it happen, or how much and how will the money be generated from this project?
Yeah, you're right.
Play, to sell tickets, if it's, or does he need money to rent the theater?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Great feedback. Thank you for that, Doc. We're gonna take that and evolve that question in the next episode next week at
As far
2
as his
p.m.
response, though, right on.
At 2 p.m. we're gonna have a better incarnation of that question. But let's go ahead and hear that that what is now what say you, Josh, after we've gone through all that, what say you in a succinct couple sentences, what would your response be?
So yeah, it was. I mean, well, the way that I feel most comfortable working is working with the experience in mind first, and but there will be, of course, like practicalities that need to happen to actually like create the platform. So outsourcing a developer at some point will be a necessity, because I'm not a developer. I sorry, I'm having some brain fog now. It's
And the notion about income, like, so once it's developed and finished, I guess we have the membership attached to it, so that would be part of it. But how, if you're an artist using the app, how does it affect your personal economy?
I believe it depends on whatever type of artist you are, with whatever type of art you're trying to create. I believe it works on a sliding scale, and so it's not really the same for everyone. But in a like general sense, it's it's
Did
I'm not sure.
did you get the cheat text I sent you? Did you get the cheat text I sent you? Check your text messages real quick.
I did. You want me to?
Well, have a look at it and tell me if that answer makes sense to you, if you agree, because we are kind of collaborating on this project, to be totally fair.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, yeah, it depends on like whoever the artist is, whatever kind of art they're making, what like their art. Um, but it's to, yeah, like you were saying, like promote like the personal economy. So and correct me if I'm wrong, but that kind of is going to inform where the artist needs to kind of like their financial kind of decisions. Like it's going to inform that for them, and kind of not really be uh, centralized, I suppose.
Okay. All
Does
right.
that
We're
does that
gonna
make sense?
stop you there. We are out of
Okay.
time. Let's
Okay.
go to the panelists. Doc, we have revisited this answer a couple times, and we revisited the question, which is unprecedented. This whole show's unprecedented. Um, are you satisfied with that answer, or do you still have questions?
I'm satisfied.
Okay, all right. Joy, are you satisfied with that answer, or do you still have questions?
As a whole, I'm satisfied. I think you should iron out certain specifics. I know when you're pricing things or you're trying to figure out if something's going to have a price, it does depend on the service. So just iron that bit out, and I think everything else is good.
All right. Okay, we'll take that. We'll accept that answer. Jeremy, you are the final answer. You are the make or break of this idea. Will the idea graduate and go to the idea board? Will it become the next great project coming out of the Co-Creator Incubator? Or does Mr. Josh have to go back to the drawing board? What say you, Jeremy?
Okay. So to my thinking, it's a legitimate answer to say it depends, because you wouldn't make this kind of app one rigid way. If one use case is going to require selling tickets and another one's going to require a fundraiser, that doesn't work the same if it's on the main nav. So I would say that yes, and especially since this is a project in motion, I'm satisfied.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. We have got our first winner to the first level of the Co-Creator Incubator. Josh, congratulations. How do you feel? You got your app launched through the first level of the gauntlet of the idea board, pitch deck to the Co-Creator Incubator, and on the idea board on mixdd.com. How do you feel, my friend?
Feels good. It feels good. It's I'm definitely like excited to see like how, like, this being something for the platform, how the platform itself can kind of energize this kind of kind of feed itself. And so yeah, I'm just I'm eager to dig at it and address the challenges and make it dope.
All right, fantastic. Are we going to have you back next week to work on round 2 of your app idea? Are we going to see you here next week to follow up?
I think you can expect me.
Okay.
I would definitely communicate if that happens to not be the case.
Okay.
But it's yeah, I want to join that.
Well, we look forward to having you back, whether it's next week or week after. You can come at any time and get some more feedback from our panelists as we develop. Everything happens at its own pace. There's no rule on that. We're just going to get through each milestone as we get there. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, I want to thank you so much for joining us for the first episode of the Co-Creator Incubator. And next week, Brandon, before we go here, I just want to do a quick reminder. Can we get a screen grab of everyone on the stream here? Can we just, I don't know, get like close to your
Everybody,
hands?
get in the camera, make a
Who's doing the
face.
screen grab? Are you doing the screen grab, Brandon?
Well, I can do a screen grab, but also all of this is immortalized in film, so it's no big deal.
Oh, that's true. I still want to do a screen grab. Oh, we could do the screen grab later. Now, fuck it. Just get in there. Everybody make a face. Get up in the thing. Make a get crazy with it. Okay, that's our screen grab. All right, nice. We're gonna be throwing that on socials. And then on our way out, I also want to say I want to congratulate the winners and mention what the next step is, which I just did. Congratulations, Josh. We look forward to seeing you at the next thing. I also want to thank all the guests and sponsors and panelists. You guys, everybody, thank you for being here. This only exists if you're here. It's an interaction, and without all of you being here and participating, it just doesn't work. Brandon, thank you for co-hosting today. Jeremy, thank you for lending your sage wisdom. Joy, thank you for being in that dangerous space with your husband driving and still joining us. And I really appreciate you taking your life in your hands like that. Say hi to him and poke him in the stomach for me and tell him I said hello. And Doc Mental, thank you so much for joining us as well and lending your wisdom. You've helped us refine this each week. The Co-Creator Incubator is a organic, growing entity that evolves as it develops. Nothing is fixed, is set in stone. We are creatives. We are constantly evolving, and so is the incubator. I want to remind everybody to check out March 31st. The documentary and the dance and the magazine release with Kuma. Brandon, if you could throw a link in the chat so that it's easy to find more information about that, that'd be great. Jeremy, I want to give a shout out to you, your comic book, your podcast, Brandon. Actually, you know what, Kuma, Joy, Brandon, if you guys could throw your own preferred links in the chat, that would be best, because then we know we'll have the right one. So, Jeremy, throw a link in the chat about where people can find more information about what you're working on with your podcast and your not the private chat, the public chat, please. Your podcast and your comic strip. Same thing, Joy. Throw a link in the public chat about your show on the 31st and where people can learn more about Cypher. Same thing, Documental. Whatever you want the world to know about, wherever they can find more about you, maybe your booking site, whatever you've got, reminders about shows, throw a link in the chat for people to share. And Josh, same for you. If you got something that you're working on the side, or just a project or a link or your social media, if you want people to be able to connect to you, just go ahead and throw that in the chat. And same for you, Brandon. Everybody throw their stuff in the chat. You know what? I'm going to throw it in the chat too. I just started my own.
You know, I'm going to throw it in the chat too. I just
I'm
started
going
my
to throw in
own.
this one. Right. Come. I just
So I put
registered
the We
my.
on Fire Cypher GoFundMe and the Fire Nation crew magazine release link in there.
All right, get those links in the chat, you guys. Thank you so much, and I want to remind you, everyone, tune in next week. Whether you're a panelist or a guest, you can always watch the show. This show will be mixed80.com/live all week long, and then it'll be replaced by the new episode. But that episode will live at that same link indefinitely. So if you ever want to reference this video, share it, get clips for your own social media, you're welcome to do that. We encourage it, and you'll find all of these episodes at mixed80.com/live. You can submit to join future episodes, send this video to friends, find details about the after party, which is tonight. If you're in Atlanta, swing by the Media Cafe here in Little Five Points, 1083 Austin Avenue at the Little Five Points Community Center at 7 p.m. Creative Drinking Club is kicking off, and we're going to have some free drinks. It's a BYOB open bar with a open mic as well. It's just a hang. If you need to still connect in person with some vibes, we're here. The doors are open. Come on down. And that's pretty much it. Thank you everybody so much for being here. I'm going to let Brandon put up some sort of an end graphic flyer to thank y'all. And that's our show. Ooh,
It's been a pleasure.
Background. Yeah, love you guys. We're going to see you next week, and we'll see you on the interwebs. Maybe we'll see you tonight at the after party. I'm going to put on, look, we got